SEL at all. If my daughter is taught CRT at all, I will sue you. If my daughter is taught SEL at all, I will sue you. I am encouraging every parent I know to sue you. To sue every teacher, principal, every system, everybody up the chain. Because we're tired of y'all. I'm an atheist, bisexual, biracial, homeless person. I want school choice. I do not want my child to be taught that just because she's black and a woman, she ain't gonna make it. I do not want my child to be taught that she needs to express herself sexually in her classroom. I swear to you, I promise you, I will turn this into a class action lawsuit, ambulance chasing business.
Wow, that woman is not a victim, and she joins us now. Gabrielle Clark, great to see you. Thank you so much. You know, it's that idea of victimhood that CRT has a means of presenting to students, that if you're a certain race, you're a victim, or you're on the other side, you're a slave owner or something like that. It's that idea, though, of victimhood that does nobody any good at all in this society, does it?
No, it doesn't. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.
It's disgusting, and I'm sick of it. A lot of parents are sick of it. All over the country, we're tired of listening to people tell us what we should and shouldn't expect from our schools and what we should and shouldn't put up with and tolerate. So I say no. I say all parents need to stand up and say no.
By the way, it wasn't cheap for you to go there. Some people just have to walk down the block to get to their school meetings. You had to drive 3 hours. You had to spend your money, and apparently, you know, you're not a rich woman. Let me just put it that way. You have to count your dollars pretty carefully. But you stayed at a hotel, stayed overnight in order to speak there. Why were you so fired up about this? What did you see from your kids that made you so angry?
You know, my son, we had to file a lawsuit in order to get his school to allow him to graduate because he was being discriminated against at school. And
in what way?
After that,
forgive me, but in what way was he being discriminated against?
He was asked to list his identities and then attach the signifiers of privileged or oppressed to those identities.
What?
And when we asked that he be opted out of that class, they said no. We filed suit in December of 2020, and they have since allowed him to graduate. But it took a lot to make that happen. We're still embroiled in that lawsuit. And while that was going on, my daughter was being socially transitioned into thinking she was a boy, and I had to stop my advocacy work and get up and move across the country to get my daughter out of that cult. And so, you know, all of that stuff, we shouldn't have to do that as parents. No. I've heard, I don't know how many parents say that they had to sell their house and move to another place because they didn't want their children to be indoctrinated. And that's ridiculous.
It sure is.
You don't need to get up and move. Sue them. Sue them blue.
You know, you mentioned choice. The school choice issue is one that needs to be front and center, I think, in the coming elections, because if you're looking for a solution, that's it. Parents should have the right to take the money that they spend in taxes for education into the school that they want. Have a competitive system. If some parents want their kids to go to CRT and the sex in the classroom training, et cetera, then they can do it. But those who want to opt out of it should have that opportunity, because they don't now, do they?
No, they don't. But you know what? Parents are a voting bloc now. And any politician who's not saying the things that we need to hear is not going to get elected. That's the reality of this situation. I want school choice. Lots of parents do. We're tired of sending our kids to these failing schools so that they can learn a bunch of yakety-smackety nonsense. That's crazy.
Yakety-smackety nonsense is the best technical term I've ever heard for all this stuff. And meanwhile, by the way, the things that are important to parents and certainly important to a kid's future, like learning the basic 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic, those test scores have been going down even before the pandemic, even before all this remote learning stuff. The test scores were going down. So they're not doing what they should be doing, and they are doing what they shouldn't be doing.
And this is why I've turned to advocacy. I'm sacrificing quite a lot to do this. because our children they're being ignored, they're being neglected, they're being indoctrinated. They need to learn how to take care of themselves when they grow up. All of this victimhood and shaming and blaming and all of that stuff that CRT and SEL does in schools, violating their civil rights, all of that stuff, we don't need to tolerate that anymore. Every parent needs to activate themselves and get out there just like I'm doing.
Well, when you do get out there, do you receive support, or do you receive criticism? Do you get threats and so forth? Which one is it, or is it a combination of the two?
You know what? For the most part, it's support. And you can, and anybody can support me at GiveSendGo/support the Clarks. That all of that pays for my activism, and it takes care of me so I can go out and fight for the children of this country and the parents of this country. And every parent needs to get out there and do that.
How old are your kids?
My daughter will be starting high school this year. My sons have already grown up and grown out of the system. Yeah. But still, you know, this shouldn't be happening. All of our children, we need everybody to stand up. Even if you don't have any kids, the future of our country is being taught all of this nonsense. How are they gonna manage the country if they can't even read? Yeah. If they can't even do enough math to figure out their own change at the grocery store. Right. I mean, that's what we're looking at right now.
Gabrielle, we got to leave it at that, but please come back and see us again. You make a compelling case, and we appreciate your courage. Thank you very much for being here.